Welcome back to Feet and episode 2 of Golf Equipment 101. Today, we're going to talk about the part of the golf club that you hold on to, the grip. All right, so in my last video, we talked about the different parts of the golf club, and we kind of went over everything. Well, today we're going to get a little bit more in depth about golf grips. So, rather than exchange pleasantries or anything like that, let's just jump into it. What do you say? So we are going to start with an all-cord grip. I kind of went over this in my last video, but this all-cord grip here will actually allow you to grip the club a little bit better. So, all-cord means it's got this rope material starting at the top, and it works its way all the way down, right? So you can see that this is fully covered in cord. Now, what's cord, you're asking? Cord is a rope-like material that gives you a little bit better traction when you're holding the golf club, especially in humid or wet situations. So let's say you are in the rain, right? You go out to play, and especially here in Texas or in Florida where a lot of my family lives, they get those unexpected rain showers or those afternoon rain showers while you're playing golf. And you need something to just grip the club a little bit better. A full cord grip is going to allow that to happen because of that cord. It gives it a little bit rougher texture, which is a good thing for some people, a bad thing for others. But overall, you're looking at a fairly solid grip here. Now, one of the negatives of these types of grips is one, it's also a positive that they are rough. Some people don't like them because it hurts their hands, right? You hit enough golf balls, the rope starts rubbing on your hand, you can get blisters. It just doesn't feel good, right? Another big disadvantage of a full cord grip is the fact that they cost more money. So because you're adding this extra material of this rope into the grip, you got to pay a pretty big premium for these. A normal rubber grip is going to run you anywhere from $2 to $5, even $6, $7, depending on the grip that you are getting. But a cord grip is going to run you $10, $11. So while they're very nice when you have humid conditions or wet conditions, or if your hands get really sweaty, right? I played a lot of my golf in Houston, which is very, very humid. And so a cord grip was a good option for me down there. Anything that would keep my hands dry, that would keep the grip dry, was always a good thing down there. So it's really good to give you a good feel of the golf club, but you do pay a little bit of a premium for this full cord grip. Now, if you still want that grip of a cord, but you don't like it all the way throughout, maybe it's a little rough on your lower hand or something like that, you can actually get something that we call a multi-compound. It's actually the name for the one I'm holding is a New Decade multi-compound. So what you'll see with this is actually this cord material is on the top half of the grip, but as we go down, we lose that cord material and we end up with a nice rubber section that does have a little bit of texture to it, but it's definitely not as rough as that cord is. So you get the benefits of the cord of the grip not slipping out of your hand or anything like that, but you get the added softness of the rubber at the bottom. Now, a negative with these, again, is price. You got to pay for that cord. This one's probably about $9, $10 for a multi-compound, especially one of these Golf Pride multi-compounds. They're very nice. They last you typically about a year and a half. You get quite a bit of mileage out of them, but you do got to pay for them. So you are looking about $10 a grip with these as well. Now, you do get that softness on the bottom, that rough on top, which isn't always a bad thing. So you pay a little bit of a premium for these. If you don't like a full cord, but you like the idea of a cord, a multi-compound's a good way to go. Now, the next and most popular version of a golf grip is going to be very basic rubber grip here, right? You can see there's no cord in that from the top all the way down to the bottom. It's got a pattern on it so that you get a little bit of texture to hold on to, but overall, it's a round piece of rubber that you hold on to swing the club. There are different types of rubber grips. So you have a traditional rubber grip that version is called a Tour Velvet, or a Crossline model, depending on the brand. But that's what you get with that. Now, back in the day, they used to do leather wrap grips. So they used to wrap leather around the club to give you that grip. And we now have rubber grips that mimic that. They're just called wrap grips, okay? So they're still rubber, they're just called wraps. And they look like someone grabbed a piece of leather and wrapped it around the top of the club where you grip it. But in reality, it's one solid piece of rubber. Another type of grip that you may see that I actually don't have any in my house because I don't like them very much is going to be a wind style grip. A wind grip is very soft. If you want something soft, that's going to be what you want to get. Now, the disadvantage with that becomes they wear out very quickly. So it's like tires. If you've ever watched any kind of racing motorsport, the tires, the softer they are, the faster they wear out. Wind grips kind of follow the same philosophy there. They feel great and they're super soft and they're super supple and it just feels very nice in the hands. The problem is they move a little bit. And when they move, they wear against your thumb. You'll see people that have very old wind grips that are just torn to shreds or they rot and they just kind of fall apart. That's the only reason why I don't like them. The people who do like wind grips, though, swear by them. They absolutely love them. So it's hard for me to, discredit them fully with that. Now, the price on those, you're going to look at something $7-8. So it's not as much as a cord. It's not as cheap as a rubber, but you are going to have to worry about that idea of it wearing out quickly. Okay, so now we've gone over the types of grips that you're really going to run into, especially with your swinging clubs, your drivers, your fairway woods, your hybrids, your irons, and your wedges, okay? Now, something that you may not realize when you are looking at clubs is that grips come in different sizes. Okay, so how I break this down to you is there are 4 main sizes of grips. You have an undersized grip. Undersized grips are typically made for women or juniors. They're smaller in diameter. So if we look here, they're just smaller, right? They just get thinner. And you can definitely feel it when you pick it up. Now, the next size up is going to be a standard. Most of the time it won't say anything. It may say standard. This one doesn't say, because this is a special Japanese grip. It doesn't say standard or anything like that on it. But you typically know when it's a standard set because it'll either say standard or it'll say nothing on it. It'll just say the name of the grip. The next size that we look at, it goes a little bit bigger. So how you can actually make a standard grip into a mid-size grip is with a couple of wraps of tape. This is a 1/32nd, I want to say, 1/32 of an inch thicker. You can definitely tell when they're thicker. They are certainly, the butt end feels bigger. This is the butt end, by the way. The butt end feels thicker. If you hold it up against a standard, you can see it's just a little bit bigger, okay? So we go undersize, standard size, mid-size, which again, the size will be right there. You can actually see it. It's pretty nice. It's pretty easy to find. You can see mid-size there. Okay. And then the fourth and final size is actually a jumbo. A jumbo is a very large grip. I don't have one because, again, I don't play one. But you know how I kind of just did this with the standard and the mid-size? If you were to grab a jumbo and do the exact same thing on the mid-size, it would just be slightly larger. I've actually swung some clubs with jumbo grips. They're super heavy. They feel weird, but some people like them. Now, how do you know what size works for you and what's the punishment if you don't play the right size? Now, there are conflicting reports on what grip size does. Some people say that the larger the grip, the harder it is to turn the club face over. And what that means is it's harder to shut the club face and get that ball for a right-hander to travel left. Think about if you were to hold a baseball bat on one end, right? On the barrel of the baseball bat. And you were to try to swing it. your hands don't roll over as quick, right? Your hands can't turn over as quickly as they can as if you were to grab it by the handle. If you grab it down at the bottom and you turn it, you're going to be able to turn it over really quick. Or if I gave you a bucket and I told you had to grab a bucket and turn it, it's a lot easier to grab a cup and turn a cup, right? Because it's just thinner. Your hands can kind of roll over it a little bit bigger or a little bit better. Now, if you go too small, what that allows you to do is, one, you'll have a bad grip on the club, right? If you come down here, you're going to hold the grip in your palm, which you don't want to do, things like that. So that's the first disadvantage of that. Now, also, if it's too small, you may be able to turn it over too quick, right? So if the mid-size is too big and you go down to the undersize, now instead of being too hard to turn over, it is now too easy to turn over, and that ball's going to get moving way left rather than right. So grip size, some people say that is the truth behind grip size. I bought it for a while. I personally, after doing some research on my own, I don't necessarily believe that grip size makes that big of a difference. I've played mid-sized clubs. I've played standard. I've played I've swung jumbos. I've swung undersized. It doesn't feel like it makes a huge difference to me. So jumbo probably feels a little weird. But everything else I don't find it affects me too much if I'm standard or mid-size. So that's something to be aware of when you are out shopping for golf equipment. There are ways to measure your hand to figure out what size is right for you. You measure the whole length of your hand and then your longest finger, things like that. The way to tell without having to do a measurement or anything like that is, let me grab a standard size. So when I hold the golf club, I'm like this, right? And you see how my finger, this finger right here, and this finger right here, barely touch my palm. Now I can do it and hold it in my palm and absolutely jab it in there. But overall, it's nice, it's light pressure on the palm of my hand right here. If I go with the mid-size, you can see I actually don't touch. So if I try to hold it, they don't touch. So that may be a little too big for me. This one right here, I wrap around and I barely touch. So that's probably the right size for me. Now, I do have a little bit of a weird golf grip. I don't hold it in my fingers the way you're supposed to or anything like that. But just kind of holding the golf club, I can kind of feel it there. All right, so we have our sizes, we have our types. Now, there's one more thing to be aware of when looking at a swinging grip that's a little bit more next level, I would say. It's not crazy, but you can definitely, you'll definitely want to pay attention to this, especially with some of the newer grips that are out or older grips. And that is a rib down the backside. So if we see here, you actually can't see it on this grip. Some of the newer ones, the Align series from Golf Pride, actually have a rib you can see down the back. This one has a rib, and you can actually see if a golf club has a rib by peeking through the bottom and holding it up to some light. You can actually see right here, there's a bump in the golf club. Or in the golf grip. Now, what that is designed to do is it helps remind you, it's called a reminder grip, where to put your fingers every time, right? If every time you grip it, you don't put your fingers in the same spot, you have this inconsistency that is detrimental to your golf swing. So, rib grips are something I like the feel of them. I had actually these on my clubs for a while, and they had a cool little rib on the back, and it feels good. Most grips don't have a rib anymore, though. So, again, another way to tell. Hold it up to the light, kind of go around in a circle like this, and then you can see if you got a rib in it or not. There'll be a little bump on the backside. Now, I know you're probably asking, what if it's already installed on a club? How can I tell? And the easiest way to tell is to just grab the golf club, and if you feel a little bump on the back, that's a rib grip. There's nothing wrong with a rib grip. There's nothing good about a rib grip. There's nothing bad about a rib grip. There's nothing wrong with the Align series. There's nothing like that. It won't affect you either way. Some people just like it, some people don't. Plain and simple. Now that we've gone over all of the different types of grips, whether it's a full cord, whether it's a multi-compound that is half cord, half rubber, or an all rubber grip, we've gone over that. We've gone over the different sizes. So we have a standard size, mid-size, undersize, and a jumbo. We've gone over that. We've gone over the types. So now let's go over some brands that you may see and whether they are a good brand or a bad brand or anything like that. So the first most popular brand out there is going to be Golf Pride. Golf Pride is kind of the leader in the golf world. They've been around since forever. They're actually owned by a company named Eaton that does other materials, but they are the golf grip division. Their most popular grip is a Golf Pride Tour Velvet. That's an all black grip that will say Tour Velvet on it and will perform great. It's probably the most popular grip on tour outside of the Golf Pride Tour Velvet cord. They pay no golfers to play their stuff. No one gets an endorsement deal through Golf Pride, yet they are played by probably around 90% of the PGA Tour, whether it's a multi-compound, whether it's a cord, whether it's a Tour Velvet. Their lineup includes the Tour Velvet, it includes the New Decade multi-compound, it includes, the new multi-compound Align, which actually gives a reminder on the back. They have what's called the +4 lineup, which actually just makes the bottom part a little bit thicker so that you lose some taper, things like that. So they are the leader. If you see Golf Pride on a club, you know that you're getting a quality grip there. The next brand that I am going to show you is going to be Lamkin. Okay, you can actually see Lamkin logo. This is actually their old logo. It's now newer, but Lamkin's probably the number 2 brand out there. Their most popular grip is actually on this club right here that I've been using for my rubber grip. It's called the Crossline. It's like a Tour Velvet. The only difference is they don't call it Tour Velvet. It's an all rubber grip with a nice, with a nice pattern on it, nice texture, so that you can grip the club better. Okay. What else do they have? They have the Crossline. They don't do the UTX anymore. They have the Sonar series, which is some of their new technology that they use. It actually feels pretty good. I have it on one of my clubs, and I like it quite a bit. Another brand that you're going to see quite a bit, especially when it comes to putter grips, which we're about to get into, is this brand right here called Super Stroke. They are one of Jordan Spieth's biggest sponsors. Not necessarily a good thing right now, but they are one of Jordan Spieth's biggest sponsors. They came into the world with putter grips, and then they moved on from putter grips into swinging grips. Me personally, not a huge fan of them. Had a couple of bad experiences, but overall, they are not too bad. A lot of people swear by them. I do kind of like them in putters. I prefer a rubber grip. There's a different material, but that's for a different part of this video. So those are going to be the 3 biggest brands. So you have Lamkin, Golf Pride, and Super Stroke. There are some other brands, some Japanese brands. There's one called Ionic that actually uses a weird kind of rubber for their grips. You can actually clean them with Windex or any kind of degreaser. They're very cool. They're very expensive, but they're very unique. Another grip to look out for is Best Grips. They are a leather grip. So if you find those on clubs, it's probably very expensive, things like that. But that is a nice grip that you will see occasionally. Let's see, any other grip brands? So we have Golf Pride, Lamkin, Super Stroke. I'm trying to think. Can't think of anyone else. So if you see some others, they may be out there. but those are going to be the big three: Lamkin, Super Stroke, and Golf Pride. All right, so now that we've gone over the different types of grips, we've gone over the brands, we've gone over the sizes, the next thing to do is to talk to you about putter grips. All right, so putter grips are kind of their own animal. I said that in my last video as well. They're kind of their own beast. And what we look for with that, how we can tell it's a putter grip, is the fact that this right here is flat. So if I get a little closer here, you can see that this part of the grip is flat. Whereas we kind of turn it around, you can see it's rounded, everything's rounded and flat. So why is that you ask? I'm not going to give you a tutorial on how to grip a putter, but your thumbs typically go all the way down the putter. They run down the length of the putter. You kind of want that flat surface. There you go. Now, what are you looking for in terms of a putter grip? Well, one, you want to make sure it's on straight. No joke, that's something you need to check for. Make sure that it lines up perfectly with the edge of the face, okay? The next thing is you want to look for the type of material. Just like a swinging grip, there are different types of materials that a putter grip can be made out of. The first is obviously rubber. It's a plain basic rubber. It'll say the name of the company or the name of the golf putter. It'll say the name somewhere on it. The next type to look for is a cord grip. Exact same concept as a swinging grip. You are looking for cord up and down. Now you're probably wondering, I'm not swinging it that fast. Why would I need cord? Great question. The reason being is with your putter, you want to have the most feel. And that cord will sometimes allow you to just get that nice feel with your putter and get everything in one motion and just get everything linked up, synced up, and just give you a better feeling of your putter. The third and probably I would say most popular type of material on a putter is one like this Super Stroke. It is actually the same kind of material as a wind swinging grip that I talked about earlier. It actually has a couple of layers to it. So the layers of this give it a nice texture. It's nice, it's soft when you squeeze it. Super Strokes are also most of the time oversized. They have their own system, a 1.0, a 2.0, a 3.0. As you get taller, or as the numbers get higher, the grip gets bigger. So that's definitely something to be aware of. I personally don't like a putter grip that's too large. So if I'm playing a Super Stroke, I'm probably playing a 1.0. That's not their thinnest. They have a 0.0, or at least they used to. A 3.0 just feels ridiculous to me. I can't do it. But a 1.0 usually feels pretty good, and I tend to go with a 1.0. People like the soft feel. People like the different shapes that they come in. And that's something that's just very important to putters. Putters are very personal. You want to make sure you have something that you like. What I like, you may not like. So putters are definitely something where you want to take out, experiment, figure out what you like, and then get it built perfectly for you. Now, I said Super Strokes come in a bunch of different sizes. Every grip pretty much comes in a bunch of different sizes. So over the last few years, a trend that we've really been seeing with putter grips is they're getting larger so that you can take the hands out of your swing. So a lot of people get handsy with their putter, which causes mass inconsistency, which is not what you want. So we have something a little bit larger. It like with the swing grip, it engages your larger muscles here, your shoulders, so you're not just going around just flipping your hands and you're wildly inconsistent. All right, so that's pretty much it for grips. You've learned the different types of grips. You've learned the different sizes of grips. You've learned different brands for grips. You've learned that putter grips are different than swinging grips. You've learned that they all come in different sizes and that you should really experiment to figure out what you like with putter grips. If you have any other questions about the putter grip, the swinging grip, or any kind of grip at all, please let me know. Comment below. In the meantime, like, subscribe, follow me on all my social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, obviously. I have a podcast that I do weekly as well. So please, please, please like, subscribe to all those pages so that you can keep up with the most up-to-date content that I put out. Again, any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I look forward to talking to you. Hit them straight.